Tonight on Texas News Primetime. Hundreds protested Project 2025 and various other causes earlier today. More from our reporters on the ground in both Austin and Houston.
One of the strongest recorded earthquakes in state history struck West Texas last week. We'll give you all the details.
UT has recently announced the introduction of the Sports Production and Broadcasting minor, when you can enroll, and more.
Music, food, and love took over the Union East patio on Wednesday with campus's E&E Hooked on Love event.
And TSTV News is celebrating 30 years. More on our favorite memories with the department. This is Texas News Primetime.
News made for Longhorns.
Good evening. For Monday, February 17th, I'm McKenna Valentine.
And I'm Nick Pantaleoni. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Crowds gathered at the Texas Capitol today to protest Project 2025 and a variety of topics as part of the 50-51 movement's No King's Day protests. Demonstrations nationwide on President's Day. Protesters in Austin gathered at the Capitol for chants and speeches before marching through the streets of downtown Austin. One demonstrator, who is a former National Park Ranger, talked about her experience losing out on her dream job 2 days after President Trump took office.
The President of the United States has orchestrated an attack on public servants and has stolen thousands of American jobs and continues to want to steal more.
Hundreds also gathered at the Houston City Hall and circled Herman Square while chanting phrases denouncing the Trump administration and Elon Musk. There is a second demonstration planned for tomorrow in Houston outside Senator John Cornyn's office. Over 200 gathered at the Texas Capitol in a protest organized by the Palestine Solidarity Committee, Austin for Palestine Coalition, and others. Protesters spoke against suggestions by President Donald Trump to take over the Gaza Strip and resettle the Palestinian people. Speakers further condemned the slow progress toward achieving a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas since the outbreak of the current war in October 2023.
For the past more than 15 months, we have been protesting against the genocide that has been happening in the Gaza Strip against the Palestinian people by the state of Israel and with the full support of the United States of America under the Biden administration. And now, even under the Trump administration, with the ceasefire that has happened, we see there are ongoing assaults on the West Bank. We want the United States citizens to realize that our tax money is going to support the state of Israel, which is committing genocide and ethnic cleansing and a system of segregation based on race and occupying lands that they are not allowed to. And also under international law, resistance to occupation is legal. And so the Palestinian people have the right to resist this occupation, and it is their human right, and they don't have to lie down and take it.
After a series of speeches, organizers walked down 11th Street chanting before arriving at the governor's mansion, being monitored by Austin police and state troopers along the way. Protesters returned to the Capitol by 5 p.m.
There were also more campus-led protests last week. TSTV News was at Littlefield Fountain on Wednesday as Austin's SDS, Students for a Democratic Society, gathered. For an hour and a half, roughly 100 students called to keep ICE off campus in what they called an emergency protest. Many students, including one we spoke with after the demonstration, said students with undocumented parents feel in grave danger of deportation by the new Trump administration.
We're here to educate the Austin community, in Texas and the country in general, to have that in their minds. Once you hear the stories of these, essentially kids, like these horror stories about hey, their parents having to talk to them that one day they might get their parents might get deported and have to live on their own.
Now, UT Austin says there has not been any ICE activity on campus, nor are campus leaders aware of any planned enforcement. The Drug Enforcement Agency did confirm immigration enforcement activity in Austin shortly after Trump took office, and said it targeted those with violent offenses. Austin protesters gathered around Tesla's showroom in the Domain on Saturday to demonstrate their lost support of Elon Musk. They held signs saying, quote, "Take your Tesla hands off my country," end quote. People across the nation are showing up to Tesla showrooms and dealerships in protest of Musk's involvement with the government as part of Trump's cabinet. Tesla consumers that are from liberal-leaning parts of the U.S. argue that Musk's involvement could lose Tesla its target demographic. And the United States Senate has officially confirmed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the new National Health Secretary. The Senate's vote ended 52-48, almost entirely divided along party lines. As Health Secretary, Kennedy will lead the Federal Department of Health and Human Services, which regulates divisions including the FDA and CDC. These are both organizations that he has previously criticized as corrupt. Kennedy has offered few details regarding his agenda, but many are expecting big changes ahead.
The Star-Spangled Banner has been the subject to chorus of boos at various sporting events in Canada in the few weeks. Canadian basketball and hockey fans first booed the American national anthem at the NBA and NHL home games 2 weeks ago, following President Trump's decision to place 25% tariffs on the country and outspoken desire to annex Canada to be the U.S.'s 51st state. While the U.S. has paused tariffs on their neighbors to the north, booing continued at an ice hockey game between the two countries on Saturday, which the U.S. won 3-1. A 5.0 magnitude earthquake struck West Texas last Friday, making it the 6th strongest in Texas history. The quake occurred at 11:23 p.m. and was followed by 3 smaller aftershocks just minutes later. No deaths or injuries have been reported. Friday's earthquake comes after 3 other 5.0 plus magnitude waves rocked West Texas in the last 6 months. Experts say the stronger seismic activity in West Texas Permian Basin could be due to increased fracking activity in the region. A measles outbreak is being reported in West Texas by the Texas Department of State Health Services. In an update released on Friday, a reported 48 cases had spread throughout the South Plains region, with most being reported from Gaines County. The outbreak is currently being investigated and cases are likely to rise in affected counties. The DSHS stated that being vaccinated with the 2 doses of the MMR vaccine is the best defense against the measles.
Well, we've been following recent effects of highly pathogenic avian flu, also known as bird flu. These past few weeks, previously, the virus had only been found in animals such as chickens, cows, and cats. Cases have been detected in black vultures near New Braunfels, Texas, and the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department is encouraging residents to take extra precautions, such as taking down bird baths and feeders in their backyards. While the transmission risk from birds to humans is low at this time, it's important to stay on the safe side and limit unnecessary exposure. The Senate Finance Committee accused the Texas Lottery Commission of allowing money laundering and criminal activity in a routine budget hearing on Wednesday. It all started when senators began looking into a $95 million jackpot from April of 2023. They discovered that a group of investors spent more than $25 million on $1 tickets to cover virtually all possible number combinations. The investigation says the Texas Lottery Commission provided extra terminals to any businesses that worked with the investors in order to process that many tickets. Senators say that the Commission's lack of accountability and reluctance to comply with adjusting courier policies are grounds for further investigation. When we come back, Campus Events and Entertainment is hosting a Valentine's Day themed trivia night tomorrow, and we'll bring you the details of the event. And cold weather continues in Austin. We'll take a look at this week's weather and when PrimeTime comes back.
13 of the 48 club sports offered by the university now require students to submit proof of sex assigned at birth.
I know deep down they would probably want to stay with the university.
No way in hell anybody's going to tell my daughters what to do with their bodies.
This state is one of the worst in child education.
We can't take it anymore, seeing those scenes.
Going to Hillel on Friday night, all my family members kept texting me not to go.
There's a huge housing crisis in Austin. Do you have a plan in place to address this issue? Determined to start your day well? We're up bright and early. From the enriching local stories to the weather forecast later in the day. Rain or shine, at Good Morning Longhorns, we got you covered. Comprised of a studious reporting staff going lengths to get that scoop. and a talented technical team to enhance your screen visually. As a fellow Longhorn, your mornings are better with us. So start your day the Vivo way. Good morning, Longhorns. Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Central Time on TSTV.
Welcome back to PrimeTime. To celebrate Valentine's Day campus events and entertainment through a Hooked on Love event at the Union, TSTV News' Nicole Vargas has the story.
Music, food, and love was in the air at the Union patio on Wednesday for UT Austin Campus E&E's Hooked on Love event.
I'm very excited to perform tonight. It'll be the first time I'm performing with some of the members of my band. I also have a show tomorrow at the Cactus Cafe, which will have a guitarist as well. So this is just really a great opportunity to get to play to a ton of people and show them my music.
U-Talent artist Nicholas Chalier performed alongside Audrey Price and Brooke Michelle. Students could gather outside and listen to them in a celebration that was all about love.
I'm so grateful to see all of the love that is getting spread all over campus through all my friends, and all the little heart decorations. Look how this is decorated, it's so cute.
Especially in a big school like this, it's very hard to find a place where you click or just straight up meet new people. So I feel like this is a really good third space. Our events are tailored to very different people, so it more or less includes anybody and everybody to come in.
For TSTV News, I'm Nicole Vargas.
Campus Events and Entertainment is hosting a Valentine's Day themed trivia night tomorrow on February 18th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Campus E&E is offering mocktails, food, and prizes. The link to RSVP on Horns Link can be found on UT's website under the Division of Student Affairs. UT Austin announced the introduction of the Sports Production and Broadcasting minor. The minor will open for applications in August of 2025, and all students at the university are able to apply. The minor is within the Moody College of Communication and allows students to learn how to create sports stories and content. According to the Executive Senior Associates Athletics Director for External Affairs, Drew Martin, students will have the ability to produce live broadcasts of sports at the university. The minor will consist of 15 hours and will take at least 4 semesters to complete.
Over 23,000 runners laced up their shoes for the Austin Marathon this past Saturday. The men's marathon winner was Bradley Malkovire with a time of 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 56.7 seconds. And the women's marathon winner, Janet Rono, ran at a time of 2 hours, 41 minutes, and 4.9 seconds. The top half marathon finishers were Mitch Ammon for men with a time of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 32 seconds, and Stevie Clark with the women with a time of 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 33.1 seconds. The Blanton Museum of Art opened a new exhibit yesterday exploring the relationships of artistic pairs. The exhibit, titled in Creative Harmony, 3 Artistic Partnerships, is divided into 3 parts to showcase the different pairs. The collaborations include a mother-daughter duo, 2 friends, and artists who worked a century apart. 3 different Blanton curators worked to put this exhibit together, and a companion exhibit is also on display in the museum's paper vault. The Cactus Cafe at UT is celebrating its 45th anniversary through February 22nd, with a number of local artist-produced shows open to students and Greater Austin residents. University series including shows from Uncle Roy and Spice, West 22nd, and Darden Smith are part of a greater effort to re-engage the UT and Austin music community. Smith, one of the 10 acts in the university shows and songwriter emeritus for the university, says that the listening room is a part of American music. The Cactus is a venue that has given students a stage for many years, and the university calls for hopes from the staff to keep the cafe running in Austin for many more to come. When we come back, cloudy conditions persist throughout the week. Your Austin forecast next. Texas women's basketball picks up another ranked win. PrimeTime will be right back.
13 of the 48 club sports offered by the university now require students to submit proof of sex assigned at birth.
I know deep down they would probably want to stay with the university.
No way in hell anybody's going to tell my daughters what to do with their bodies.
This state is one of the worst in child education.
We can't take it anymore seeing those scenes.
Going to Hillel on Friday night, all my family members kept texting me not to go.
There's a huge housing crisis in Austin. Do you have a plan in place to address this issue? Determined to start your day well? We're up bright and early. From the enriching local stories to the weather forecast later in the day. Rain or shine, at Good Morning Longhorns, we got you covered. Comprised of a studious reporting staff going lengths to get that scoop, and a talented technical team to enhance your screen visually. As a fellow Longhorn, your mornings are better with us. So start your day the Vivo way. Good Morning Longhorns, Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Central Time on TSTV.
Welcome back to Primetime.
We are still in the midst of winter weather here in Austin. Abby Science is here with all you need to know in this week's weather. How are you doing today, Abby?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. Tomorrow in Austin, expect a continuation of the cold weather we have been seeing. Cloudy conditions are expected throughout the day, with a high of 74 degrees and a low of 49 degrees. With no sunny skies in sight, make sure to take a jacket with you on the way to classes. Looking forward to the rest of the week, Wednesday is looking just as cloudy with a high of 49 degrees and a low of 33 degrees. Make sure to bundle up on Thursday as the high will be 43 degrees with a low of 28 degrees. Friday is looking just as chilly with a high of 43 degrees and a low of 35 degrees. Expect a chance of rain on Saturday with a high of 46 degrees and a low of 36 degrees. Our sunny skies will be back on Sunday with a high of 67 degrees and a low of 34 degrees. Although you might need to grab a jacket the next few days, the weather is looking much brighter and warmer next week. That's the latest on the weather here in Austin. As we wait for those warmer spring temperatures, make sure to tune in with us every Monday to get your weekly weather breakdown. Back to you, Nick.
Well, thanks, Abby, for keeping us up to date with the weather. When we come back, we'll see how Texas baseball is looking after the Shriners Children College Showdown this past weekend. And the British TV and Film Award show, the BAFTAs, took place last night. We'll take a look at some of the results. Primetime will be right back.
Thirteen of the 48 club sports offered by the university now require students to submit proof of sex assigned at birth.
I know deep down they would probably want to stay with the university.
No way in hell anybody's going to tell my daughters what to do with their bodies.
This state is one of the worst in child education.
We can't take it anymore seeing those scenes.
Going to Hillel on Friday night, all my family members kept texting me not to go.
There's a huge housing crisis in Austin. Do you have a plan in place to address this issue? Determined to start your day well? We're up bright and early. From the enriching local stories to the weather forecast later in the day. Rain or shine, at Good Morning Longhorns, we got you covered. Comprised of a studious reporting staff going lengths to get that scoop, and a talented technical team to enhance your screen visually. As a fellow Longhorn, your mornings are better with us. So start your day the Vivo way. Good Morning Longhorns, Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Central Time on TSTV.
Welcome back to Primetime.
Texas basketball picks up a win this weekend after some tough losses. Joe Duffy has the latest for Press Box on Primetime. How are you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing great. Great to be back on Primetime.
Well, this past Saturday, Coach Rodney Terry and Texas men's basketball were reeling, losing 3 straight games in an embarrassing fashion. But, well, how were the Longhorns able to get back on track, defeating number 15 Kentucky 82-78?
Yeah, it was good for the Longhorns to get back on track, and it was no secret that Texas fans had grown restless during that losing streak, producing what Coach Rodney Terry called outside noise, as there were some boo-birds during the Texas-Alabama game. However, this past Saturday would be the Trey Johnson and Tremont Marks show, as the duo accounted for 58 of their team's 82 points, just pure domination on the offensive side of the ball for the special duo. The young freshman Johnson had a masterclass performance of 32 points and 9 rebounds, while his veteran senior compatriot made his mark, if you will, with a 26-point performance. No other Longhorn had 10 points in the scoring sheet. Although Kentucky had 2 of their best players out in Jackson Robinson and Lamont Butler, the Cats were able to lead at halftime 41-37. But as Trey Johnson would say in his post-game press conference, Texas went back to what made them tally their past wins, which was their hard-nosed defensive-first mentality. Even though Arthur Kaluma and their best defensive player were out in Kendall Weaver, Texas channeled that defensive mindset, generating 21 points off of 15 Wildcats turnovers. Now, Texas's defense was so clutch in the closing stages as they surged on an 18-8 run the final 3 minutes and 51 seconds of regulation. And as I was there on site in the Moody Center, it was just pure pandemonium.
Number 2 Texas women's basketball has been scorching, winning their 10th straight game last night against Kem Mulkey's number 5 Tigers. How are the Longhorns able to rally against LSU?
Yeah, well, it was just more of the same that we've grown accustomed to with Vic Schaefer's squad now that is this year 26-2. This season, 12-1 in the SEC and a perfect 14-0 at the Moody Center. You want to talk about fighting the Texas way? Look no further than how Texas closed yesterday. Texas started off incredibly slow, and LSU would lead by as much as 12. The Longhorns didn't necessarily shoot efficiently, but great teams find a way when the going gets tough. Madison Booker's 16-point, 10-rebound double-double, and a dominant showing from the Texas bench led the comeback rally as Texas outscored LSU 21-9 in the fourth quarter. Also, these ladies were 21 of 21 from the charity stripe and made their last 6 field goals. It was just an unbelievably gritty fourth quarter to propel Texas to get this, their 9th ranked win of the season and their 6th win against an AP top 10 opponent. What makes this even sweeter, in my opinion, is that they played their hearts out in front of 10,542 fans at the Moody Center, and they deserve pretty much every ounce of praise that they've gotten. It's just amazing to see the women's basketball grow so much on this campus alone, because appreciating them as they have been the better team in the men's basketball programs, considering them as well, it's just been great to see that as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, finally, Texas baseball began a new era under a controversial name this past weekend, opening their season at Globe Field in Arlington. What are your early thoughts on how Texas baseball has looked?
Well, I mean, like you said, the Jim Schloss-Nagel era has finally begun. After, the Shriners Children's College Showdown, say that 15 times, took place at Globe Life Field in Arlington. And, of course, he left last year's runner-up Texas A&M in controversial fashion, as you alluded to. Now, Texas fans might have already been ready to push the panic button as the number 19 Longhorns would open their season this past Friday, losing to an unranked Louisville 4-3. However, that loss would light a fire under the Longhorns, as on Saturday, the lefty Luke Harrison would pitch a gem of 6.1 innings of shutout baseball, while the Longhorns offense would rule the Ole Miss Rebels 10-0 in 7 innings. And then yesterday, against the Big 12 favorite Oklahoma State Cowboys, Texas had an offensive explosion thanks to 4 hit games from Adrian Rodriguez and the 2024 Big 12 Player of the Year, Max Ballou, defeating the Cowboys 14-8. It's understandable to have your concern from this squad after blowing the game against an unranked team in Louisville, but it's early. These rankings are just numbers at this point of the season. You cannot and will not win every game in college baseball. But what I'm certain of is that this team, at their best, has quite the high ceiling, and you saw that in those final 2 games in Arlington.
Thanks, Joe, for keeping us up to date on all things sports. When we come back, Saturday Night Live celebrated its 50th anniversary this weekend. We'll discuss the highlights. And TSTV News celebrated its 30-year anniversary this weekend. We'll talk about some of our biggest accomplishments and favorite memories. Primetime will be right back.
13 of the 48 club sports offered by the university now require students to submit proof of sex assigned at birth.
I know deep down they would probably want to stay with the university.
No way in hell anybody's going to tell my daughters what to do with their bodies.
This state is one of the worst in child education.
We can't take it anymore seeing those scenes.
Going to Hillel on Friday night, all my family members kept texting me not to go.
There's a huge housing crisis in Austin. Do you have a plan in place to address this issue? Determined to start your day well? We're up bright and early. From the enriching local stories to the weather forecast later in the day. Rain or shine, at Good Morning Longhorns, we got you covered. Comprised of a studious reporting staff going lengths to get that scoop, and a talented technical team to enhance your screen visually. As a fellow Longhorn, your mornings are better with us. So start your day the Vivo way. Good Morning Longhorns, Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Central Time on TSTV.
Welcome back to PrimeTime.
UT is preparing to open a special exhibit dedicated to SNL. James Griffin is here to talk about what you need to know in music, movies, and more. How are you doing today, James?
Doing great. Happy to be here. Saturday Night Live celebrated its 50th anniversary this weekend with a number of specials, including an anniversary episode last night that welcomed back dozens of former cast members, hosts, and musical guests, including names like Sabrina Carpenter, Paul McCartney, Bill Murray, Eddie Murphy, and so many more. Friday night, a concert special commemorated musical guests of the show's past with dozens of live performances from music's biggest names. As SNL looked back on the past 5 decades, UT is doing the same as the Harry Ransom Center prepares to open a special exhibit in September dedicated to the SNL and its creator after the center acquired the Lorne Michaels Archive collection. You can read more online at tstvnews.com.
What was your favorite skit from the special last night?
Personally, I just love seeing the opening monologue. Yeah. Well, in other entertainment news, the British TV and Film Award show, the BAFTAs, took place last night. The vacation thriller Conclave tied with the post-war drama The Brutalist for most awards won last night. Conclave won Best Film and Best British Film. The Brutalist won Best Director, given to Brady Corbett. Adrian Brody won Best Leading Actor for his role in the movie. Best Leading Actress was won by Mikey Madison for her role in Honora.
So, you can be honest with me. Have you seen any of the movies that were nominated this year?
Personally, I haven't, but after reading into it, I really look forward to looking into them. Well, TSTV News celebrated its 30-year anniversary this weekend. The first episodes of KVR 9 News at 9 aired in February 1995, according to our archives. Since then, the department has grown and evolved to include the 3 shows we have today. Over the years, TSTV News has sat down with Jimmy Fallon, broken a story on LGBTQ discrimination at the Scottish Rite dorm, covered former President Joe Biden's visit to campus, and much more.
What has been your favorite memory with TSTV News?
Personally, I loved it just from the moment I walked in here, meeting everyone that's involved in the production.
That's your Monday briefing. I'm McKenna Valentine.
And I'm Nick Pantaleoni. From all of us at TSTV News, thank you for watching.
Now go out and change your world.